Thank you for logging in to LOL Miss Nikki here, IntellectualRadio.com. You are listening to Marissa by Machine. If you don't know who that is, you need to Google because they have like the best old school house song ever. That Before the Grace of God. If you don't know what that is, then welcome to the geriatric portion of the show. Anywho, it's getting warmer out of here, and like I always tell you guys, please watch out for my brothers and sisters who prefer 2 wheels instead of 4 out here in these streets. Everybody has to look out for each other and keep all of us safe. We are going to go to commercial, and then you are going to find out who is in studio with me, because you know I like to make you wait. That's how I do around here. But that's okay, because we're going to educate you in a little bit. So stay tuned. Check out my sponsors. Check out all the other shows here at IntellectualRadio.com, like Sisters Love, Drive at 5, Making Waves with Miss Darcy, Katie Lowe, He Said, She Said, Go Hard. There's just so many. There's so much to love about this place. I'm telling you. Log on all the time to IntellectualRadio.com, and thank you for tuning in to LOL with Miss Nikki.
Turn it up. Antiqua Entertainment. Yeah. The company that knows how to party. Every event, from weddings to birthdays. We have the DJs and MCs to rock your crowd. We have the sound and light show to make it huge. And we have the talent and experience to always get it right. We are the party experts.
You already know.
Hit 'em with it.
Antiqua Entertainment.
Get your insurance policy reviewed. The ladies at American Family Insurance will review and explain policy coverages, limits, and what they mean, so you can be sure you are properly protected exactly as you like and need. The Anna Heron Bassick Agency has been awarded year after year for providing excellent customer service. Whether it's auto, motorcycles, or life and home, Anna's agency deals with them all. Call Anna or Justina today for your free insurance review at 773-794-9200. That's 773-794-9200. Like them on Facebook at facebook.com/AH Agency. They speak English, Spanish, and Croatian.
The weekend is near. Your event is around the corner. You need to look your best. Let Marquin Salon help you look good. They create everyday art with their clients' hair. Located at 2157 West Division Street on the southeast corner of Levitt and Division by St. Mary's Hospital. Marquin Salon is open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., Sundays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and they are closed on Saturdays. Marquin Salon, where first-time customers get 25% off of all services. Like them on Facebook, facebook.com/Marquin Salon, MarQuinSalon. Follow Marquin Salon on Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. To make an appointment, call 773-782-8477. That's 773-782-8477. For questions and info, you can email Marquin Salon at MarQuinSalon@gmail.com.
Are you looking for cosmetic or reconstructive plastic surgery? Dr. Clark Shirla is a board-certified Chicago plastic surgeon and has worked with surgeons from Northwestern Memorial Hospital, Children's Memorial Hospital, and many others. Contact Northwestern Specialists in Plastic Surgery today and schedule an appointment to see Dr. Shirla about rediscovering your inner beauty and realizing the personal image you have always desired. Call them now at 312-266-6240. That's right, 312-266-6240. Or you can check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/Chicago Plastics.
Your wedding day, a day that you've envisioned in your mind since you were a child, and now that it's becoming a reality, don't risk your once-in-a-lifetime event to a once-in-a-while amateur you found on Craigslist. The entertainment you choose for your special day can either make or break your celebration. You can never redo your wedding, but you can avoid a costly mistake by hiring a true professional. We make every wedding unforgettable. Welcome to Batiqua Entertainment.
And you are back with LOL with Miss Nikki. Please check out all my sponsors. I mean, you need insurance. Check out my girl Anna Heron Basic and see what she could do for you, whether it is home, life, automotive, everything. Take care of you. Got them income taxes? Take care of you. Go get some quotes. And if you're on your way to that party, you want to look good. So check out my guy, Montgomery Martha, and Marquin Salon, where he creates art every day. And if you need a good DJ, you want to get down and party, check out my guys at Batiqua Entertainment that provide music, magic, and fun to every event. They do everything from outdoor events to corporate. So give them a shout out. And I know some of us like to take care of ourselves, eat a little Botox, little spa treatment. Check out Dr. Clark Sherla. Also, if you know anybody that needs any type of reconstruction surgery, he did mine. Can't show you, but he did a fantastic job. I guarantee it. And wonderful bedside manner. This is somebody you're going to want to see. He has the menu of all the spa treatments. Mother's Day is coming. Again, income tax, treat yourself, because if you don't take care of you, who will? So check out Dr. Clark Sherla's page at the NSPS, Northwestern Specialist. Who else am I missing? I'm missing somebody. Girl, I'm missing somebody, honey. Are you sure I got everybody? Okay, I'm getting old. It's too nice outside. I got too much sunlight today. I don't know how to act. So we're going to get right into it. I know y'all want to know who this is. And I know, ladies, I know I do it every week. This eye candy, I know. I'm sorry. But he's taken. So, just have to mourn for a minute, moment of silence. I get it. But I'm in studio with Tone Duncan. And the reason why I got him here, he is hot off the heels of CNN, trying to make a change in this world. One person at a time, one man at a time. Give it up for Tone being here in studio with me today.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Miss Nikki. It's a pleasure to be here.
I am
Always
so glad
awesome.
you had time to come in and
I
on
make
that busy
time.
schedule.
I'll make time. Even on the most beautiful day
I
like
know.
today.
I
When I
know.
could be cruising around. I said, that is not as happening as being right here. So I am very privileged to be here today.
Thank you. I am dying to know, first of all, okay, how did we get to CNN?
Okay. So in a nutshell, I've always been a political organizer. I've always been somebody who believed that there's a message that most people subscribe to, but very few are able to articulate.
Okay,
And
I'm going to stop you real quick. What political party do you subscribe to?
Yeah, so I subscribe to the US party.
Okay.
That means whoever's for us, I'm for them. Whoever's not for us, I'm not for them.
Okay.
And when I say us, I mean us who have a commonality in our struggles, a commonality in our persecutions, a commonality in the bottom of the slope trying to get to the top. So it's not specific to any ethnicity or specific to any political position. It is to a we.
Okay.
And we all know who we are.
Yeah, I dig it. So, okay, back to how you got to CNN. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I have a gym, Body Science, in Wilmette, and so my kids are one of the very few minorities in the school system, and so it really irritated me that so many times that there's a Black awareness, I should say more specifically, an African American awareness. There's always some kumbaya around poor them. They were always so mistreated, and we need to focus in on the victim them instead of the victor them. And that has always been something of an imbalance that I thought needed to be righted. I believe that we have most certainly overcome the majority of the hardships.
Out of curiosity, in what way did you notice that they were being treated differently in the school system?
So it's like this. Okay, so in let me speak more specifically to how so this was, first off, it was all about an African American awareness seminar, and this African American awareness seminar was put together by the school, and it really focused around the hardships that African Americans have been through and the negative situation that so many African Americans still struggle with. But it didn't diversify the conversation by showing how there was a very large and even larger segment of the African American population that have done quite well for themselves and have built bridges for other African Americans.
So
to get
they
stronger.
Basically pulled out the negative, is
right?
What you're saying.
And it's always, oh, I feel so sorry. So the takeaway message is, I feel so sorry for Black people. We need to go to our neighborhood soup kitchen and feel like we've helped them out. And that is really, to me, an insult. There's a person who, lived in the projects, a person whose family had to strive and struggle to get to some form of economic balance. I feel like there's not enough conversation about how these welfare systems and things of that nature, though meaningful in their own right, have actually been kind of a detriment to so many of us and a stumbling block for so many of us right now. And I think that the conversation has to be balanced. Not that one has to omit the struggle or one has to do away with the hardships that we overcame, but we definitely, most certainly, have to focus in on where we are right now, 2017.
I feel in the school systems these days, I mean, their struggle is still she said on the back of the bus. You know what I mean? We still, it's not the struggle of the history of what happened within our own community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whether no matter what race you are, the history is not there. On top of the education you're talking about, I mean, you come from nothing to something, you're self-made, and that's something huge to be proud of. You're an example, obviously, to your children and to others, but at the same token, it is not there in the education system, even when we were kids, how to fill out a tax form, how to be a business owner, to generate you that fire to go out there and do it. Yeah. So I get what you're saying. It's this whole let's keep everybody feeling oppressed and it'll get better. That attitude,
Well, you said it in a nutshell. So let me talk to you first about a couple of things. Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks, people know Rosa Parks. They have no idea who she was. They have absolutely no idea that she was the secretary
to Martin Luther King, right?
Well, no, originally she was the secretary for the Pullman Union, which was the only African-American union of African-American employees nationwide. Now, the Pullmans were the train, so the luxury trains that were up and down the United States of America. Well, the service providers, the trainsmen, they unionized because of the unfair treatment that they were getting. And a gentleman by the name of A. Philip Randolph, he actually put together this African-American guy who put together this massive movement to give African-Americans more labor rights. So Rosa Parks, who was a secretary for that region, had experienced such discrimination that she just said, enough with this. I'm not going to take this. I'm too literate to know that this is wrong. That I can no longer allow you guys to do this. Well, so the message got to A. Philip Randolph about this situation. He sent a guy named Bayard Rustin. Bayard Rustin was a homosexual African-American activist who had to go on the hush because at the time the Baptist Church could not have any connection to a homosexual, albeit an African-American homosexual. But he was instrumental in pulling together the ministers to stand up and advocate for change. So when he was doing this, he had to do it behind the scenes, had to teach them how to put together their organizations and everything. But A. Philip Randolph, somebody who you never even hear about, Bayard Rustin, who we never even hear about, are the icons of this legacy.
She was in the back of the bus.
Because the "woe is me" story is the only thing that's paramount. And so these are the kind of adversities that our story is always negated. So that being said, we go back to now education, and we understand that one of the reasons why African Americans score so low on their achievement tests, and mind you, those tests have dropped even more since the 90s. So, some of you have so many people who say, well, they're racially biased tests. Well, if they're racially biased now, they were racially biased in the 90s. How did we drop? Okay, so here's the real issue. You've got a lot of people who study adolescent intellectual behavior. And what they find out is this. They find out that the children of college-educated the children of college-educated parents, they hear somewhere around 2,000 words an hour between the ages of 1 to 3. They hear somewhere around 2,000 words an hour. Now you take just a hardworking family with very limited education, and they hear somewhere around 1,200 words an hour. Now you take a single parent, and you put them in that home and say that single parent has no advanced education, that child is only hearing somewhere around 600 to 800 words an hour. Okay, do you understand that the more words you hear by somebody who you have to engage back with, someone who's important to you, you hear your mother speaking, you hear your father speaking, there's this awareness that comes about you. It's not like background TV noise or the radio playing.
This is a physical person in
you
front of
have to, so this increases your intellectual capacity at an age before you even see. a school system. And this is where some of our real problems are. These are where some of the major underlying issues are. But as long as we're speaking on the negative experiences of African Americans instead of the proactive opportunities that we have, not only as African Americans, but all people who are seemingly out of the loop, we can advance the narrative and move on to problem solving instead of problem addressing, and that's
There's
my
a difference.
issue. Yes.
There's a huge difference with that. Because on CNN, I noticed that this lady was talking about some kind of camp.
Yeah. Well,
what was that all about?
So Susan Berger, and she's actually a real sweetheart. And again, this goes back to
I'm not saying nothing negative. When I caught it, I was like,
So Susan Berger, she was referring to a time in high school. Now, mind you, she was in high school when there was real serious race stuff going on. She did this camp that really allowed African Americans of that time to interact and to socialize with meaningful, caring Caucasians, and it was very meaningful. What she did was stood up in a time where standing up could get you hurt.
Oh yeah.
And that's not the only thing. I mean, obviously you could be derailed of all your economic opportunities you have, and your family could be shunned in the whole nine. So it was very meaningful. But as I explained to her, it is a slap in the face of those ancestors who risked their lives so that they not so they could not be called the N-word, but could care less what word you called them, as long as it didn't impede on their money, on their safety, and on their academic opportunities. They didn't care whether you liked them. They assumed you never would.
Well,
but just give me the chance to provide for my family, to walk down the street in happiness and peace of mind, without having to worry about some rogue community-sponsored lynch mob.
Just wanted to live life, love, and liberty.
What's wrong with that? So now when we kind of take their mantle, steal their shine, their thunder, their sacrifices, and say that we're victims of racism, we're victims of prejudice.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're victims of haters. But we're not victims of any kind of institutionalized laws that prohibit us from the same opportunities they have. It might be harder, and yes, most certainly it is.
Well,
we're capable.
They want to discourage.
Right. But that's the thing, is that, in life, there's a couple they're mismarketed messages on purpose. First off, this mismarketed message that white people have some alliance. There is so much hatred amongst white people. There's so much ethnic division. There's so much bigotry amongst just cultural differences within Europeans that it's shameful for us to compile so many people together and then call them the collective enemy. No, our enemy first and foremost is our ignorance. We need to respond to that by getting more intelligent, by allowing the narrative of our conversations to be one that's progressive. When I like, that's why I don't listen to black radio. I don't listen to black radio, generally speaking, because it dumbs down the narrative. Every time I listen to a GCI, every time I listen to a V103, I get dumber. I intellectually am impeded. So this is the problem right there, because we support these, and we don't demand a higher level of expectation. Now, just because a couple times a week they may have a meaningful soap opera kind of conversation, it does not aspire our youth for intellectual progress. It does not captivate the truth of where we are juxtaposed to where we need to be, and that hurts my soul.
Well, we're in a society today of instant everything, and the entitlement of wanting to know right now.
Yeah,
that is so easy to spoon feed.
Right.
This, basic whatever people want to hear, right. What sounds good, what feels good, what looks good.
Right.
It's so much easier than work.
Right. And
anything that requires work that you have to, to build yourself. People don't understand. Yeah. It takes work to build yourself, to build who you are, right. In any aspect, right. Whether it's in a marriage, whether it's financial, whatever the situation, yeah. It's work, and nobody wants to work.
Well, I tell you this, I live in Lathrop Homes. I just take one of my little project dwellings that I had in Lathrop Homes. I'll never forget. There was the line to get your pool pass. Mm-hmm. Right. And at the same time, there was a line to get your children into GED or college preparatory programs, 2 lines. They were right next to each other. There was I can't say nobody. There was few people in the line for academic prowess, and everybody was sitting in the line trying to get their pool pass. Okay. Mm-hmm. So just to let you know, yes, there's a level of ignorance but it's self-perpetuated because you know what? It is hard work. It's hard work to do everything. It's hard work to do anything that you feel is worth obtaining.
Absolutely.
Right? Because if it wasn't hard, we would devalue it. It would have no meaning to us. But the hard work is truly the things that we care the most about.
Now, since the CNN interview, which we will share that link somewhere on the LOL with Nikki page, since then, what have you done in the community with the youth? Like, you list yourself as a motivational speaker. Have you taken on any children, to mentor? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah. So here's my deal right now. I look and see what the number one killer of minorities is in America right now. I would be so ready to fight the cops. Some people might know that I had 21 counts of aggravated battery against the Chicago Police Department. My brother and I, we were jumped on by the police. They tried to put it in a situation that maybe by making it fish on for 2 years in the middle of our young and maturing life that we would somehow cop out, but we didn't. We had a jury trial, and in the jury trial, we found out that there were over 40 witnesses that called the Office of Professional Services to report this crime that happened, but it was suppressed. Nobody even knew about it. They offered us a stack in a manila envelope that was bigger than an encyclopedia.
I remember.
Yeah,
I remember the story.
So I say all that to say when we look at what's killing African Americans right now, and not just African Americans, because my heart bleeds for, like I said, all of us. Us is everybody who is fighting to get to that level of balance that we all deserve as Americans, and that exceeds ethnic boundaries. So when I say that, I say I deal with what's killing us right now. Number one killer of us is the food we consume. So I feel like once we can start to understand, start with the food you consume. Start with that. Then from there, food for thought creates food for thought. So while I have the opportunity on a more general level to speak to people about health, to speak to people about diseases, to speak to people about environmental decay of our bodies. Well, you're teaching
them to love themselves and to appreciate their body. Yeah. But from that point, I mean, when you're talking about today's youth, I've seen your videos on health. I'm always like, I hate him. He has no body fat. None. I'm telling you, it's amazing the stuff he can eat. I'm watching him and I'm like, can I get some fries? I'm like, I can't. His shakes are amazing. And I'm sitting here like, Burger King sounds so good right now. But and I give you a lot of credit because you've been doing it for years. Like, I've seen this man take skin off of chicken. I'm like, that's the best part. Like, that's fried chicken. What's wrong with you? But no, like you were talking about dairy. Dairy needs to be removed. Like, that's a great example. But in today's age of the youth that you're talking about, like, because it was affecting the kids in high school. I feel social media is the devil. If I didn't have to use it, Lord, I wouldn't be on. I promise you, I would delete everything. How do you get these kids to be passionate about wanting to get into their history and making a change? Because you said it starts with you first, which is absolutely true. But where's the next level? Do you feel that social media is killing the youth today?
So I believe that social media can be a place for you to, destroy your relationships. I feel like social media can be a place where you can build great ones. I believe that, like anything else, water can drown you or it can support life. You have to find the appropriate way to utilize a tool, destructively or constructively. It's on you. But that is the segue to how we deal with life. In the streets, I'll never forget that in my time being arrested because of that 21 counts of aggravated battery, I met some of the most meaningful people while I was in one of the most dangerous facilities in the world. But at the same time, these were very good people. Now, there were some knuckleheads there that I made sure not to have that long of a conversation with. But my point that I'm saying is that in all things, opportunity is there. You just have to utilize it, just like the people who use it negatively. The positive opportunities are there as well. I have so many people who know me. They know that I grew up with a very different upbringing and then transcended to something that I consider to be more positive. These people, they saw my path. They heard about me. They said, well, how did you get from this situation to this situation? How did you change your life? How did you make
And it
yourself,
wasn't just you. Like, your brother and sister are successful. Your mother is very successful. God bless all you guys. Love you guys. Totally miss you guys. But, it wasn't just like one out of the group. All of you at some point knew that this change had to happen. You knew that your grind was different from your sisters, from your brothers, and you didn't lose focus. But what I'm saying is, like, you have the kids at home. So you have sons and daughters.
Yes.
When you look at your children and see obviously they have a completely different life than what you had. They couldn't possibly understand what you had been through. It was a different time, number one.
Might as well be speaking a different language.
Yeah.
They have no understanding.
How do you set that example within them to spread to their friends? Because it has to be infectious.
Right. So first and foremost, let me pull this back a little bit. So I lost 2 brothers, as you know. Absolutely. And those 2 brothers weren't going the right path. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, that was what we moved away from. So we were on a trek for failure. My mother was, she was a functioning alcoholic. My father was a functioning alcoholic and drug addict. I consider myself to have been a semi-functioning alcoholic. And we moved when I got the 21 counts of aggravated battery just after my brother got killed, with my other brother right there to witness it. That's when the schism happened. That's when I realized that you can either go that route or go this route. You can either live those dreams that you dared to dream, or you can just fall victim to everybody else's opinion of who you were going to be anyways. And I think that, to me, was when I made a decision. You know what? You've got to secure that part of you that has always loved, has always wanted, and has always believed. You have to. And so when I talk to my children, about digging in and listening to the messages, because you have multiple messages going on in your brain all the time. You don't always feed the positive and you don't always feed the negative. I always tell my children that you have to believe in the goal setter that's within you, not the quitter, because the quitter's right there too. He wakes up in the morning just like the goal setter. Right. And you have to start to feed the right one. You have goals and you have despair. Both of them are mighty hungry. Which one are you going to bring the plate to? That's what it's really all about to me. So when I talk to these kids, and I get an opportunity to talk to a lot of kids, and I talk to them typically, I come from a barbershop background when I owned hair salons. And I used to speak to kids so much more frequently then because I had the opportunity to talk to each one. But what I had learned a long time ago, you have to identify the ones who control the group. So I typically find that one kid in a group that can really dictate what the group does, and I work with them more consistently.
How to influence.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. But okay, so what is your blueprint after the health situation?
Right. So as it relates to outside of health?
As to what you're trying to do to make this change in the community.
Right.
Because health is one thing, but we've got serious issues. I mean, these kids are killing each other every day.
Right.
They're so ignorant to why they're killing each other. They don't even know.
Right. And it's because they bought into the marketing. The woe is me, we're hopeless. See, because our only African-American intellectuals, and I'm going to just stick with the African-American community, because unfortunately, when you look at the numbers, you find out that African-Americans make up 50% of the homicides, but they make up 80% of the killers. Okay?
But I'm saying, I know, we grew up Rogers Park, you know what I'm saying? We were always around Truman.
Right.
Would you consider going back to talk and mentor, or are you doing that currently?
That's a great question, because for instance, I used to be in that organization, Ceasefire. And so I was out deployed on the streets to whomever would be more likely to be killed or to kill somebody that night. And what happened was, because it was state funded, the state found all the information to be very beneficial to the Chicago police. So for that reason, it made it very dangerous for us to get out there and do something that was active and beneficial to these kids, which was specifically trying to get them ready for some form of job preparedness. And that ended up almost being a deadly situation for us. So
I know a couple of people.
So I'm very cognizant of whom I'm aligned with. I don't do politics, meaning that I don't do Democrats or Republicans, and specifically because I know how, and forgive my way of looking at things. I know how slutty you have to be to get your agenda passed. Yeah, you've got to sleep with such to get your agenda done.
Or be willing to pay some kind of price.
Well, yeah, in any ways it goes. That's what I mean. When I say sleep, I mean you're going to have to marry yourself to their agenda to move your agenda. And it's a sad thing about the way that politics work, because you'll never get the opportunity to learn about the people who wouldn't do it. Matter of fact, they're never talked about, because you usually hear somebody's good by another somebody who you think is good. So if somebody A says somebody B is bad, you think, well, if all these people are saying he's bad, it's got to be something. But the truth is, they're not advancing the collective agenda, and they're not participating. This individual is going rogue and not participating in the way things go, and so that person gets put away. So
are you considering either creating a program to bring you to you,
right.
or I mean,
yeah.
because I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
there's everybody knows everybody, and especially with social media again, you know, if I put in, you know, hey, I know the Duncans, boy, everybody and their mama,
right.
Which one, blah, 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 you know, that's what I'm saying. Would you go back to the community
right.
and speak in Rogers Park?
Right.
Would you go back to like Sullivan or
So right now I've gotten opportunities to speak at certain churches, and I have absolutely no problem. I love speaking to kids. More specifically, I like to speak to kids who are collectively too cool to have this conversation.
Okay.
Because I know that there's a few of them that are really listening, and I can always identify who they are. You know, Booker T. Washington, one of my real role models. He had a firm belief that everybody's not going to be able to make it. Some people are going to make it, and other people are going to be able to make it better for the ones who didn't.
Okay, but I'm gonna stop you right there, and I know that target group is
right.
so it's so time sensitive to
right.
grab them. But why not go even younger?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, when we were growing up, because we're
right.
telling our age, cops and firemen used to come to school and
right.
tell us the reasons why they became firemen and policemen, and you know, the safety if you're ever in trouble. Anyway, I have a whole nother feeling about that. But you know, they came out to you in kindergarten,
right? You
know, and just got you riled up, and you couldn't wait for next year for them to come back and talk to you again. How about let's plant these seeds now?
Right. Yeah, it's unfortunate because so much of our community is told to avoid the police. Anything that involves doing the right thing is almost shunned upon. You know, you're a snitch, you're this. But see, what our children need to understand is that if they're not growing up to be the police, then some outsiders growing up to be the police, and they're going to be the ones telling you what to do and deciding whether or not what you did was right. And that's the real scary thing. So I'm always trying to get our children to understand more about the responsibilities we have to our society, and more importantly to our community, to our neighborhood. One of the things that I think is really sad is that you get this from learned behavior. Learned behavior is when your parents start to community police. When your parents are actively involved in what's going on in their neighborhoods, not allowing a few people to do a whole lot of bad, which is the case with all of the violence that happens in communities. It's always done by a small group that's willing to do an immense amount of crime. And it's always then painted like the entire community then is bad. You can't get the community policing right now from the parents, and that's one of the things that I think the children are going to have to find a way through. I'm always reminded of the guardian angels when I was a kid, because
your brother.
Yeah, my brother Kirk was a guardian angel.
He got me, and we worked together.
And I loved him for it, because you know what? He was so disgusted with the way that parents were allowing the communities to go to crap, that he said, you know what, it's the kids who have to do this.
He had so much heart and love into it, and he sold me on it immediately.
So I want to work with organizations that are serious about getting out there at the organic, at the grassroots level.
Because my thing is, I think if you get these kids like at least 5 years old, with the thought of my community is important, I'm important,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not saying the older generation, as far as the teens, is lost. It's a harder sell.
Right, exactly. And you know, and I don't mean to keep moving around from the specific point, but ultimately the opportunities that are available are typically watered down, and they're typically a narrative that's kind of superimposed to stop it to be as meaningful as we really want it to be. And that's what, you know, so when I go to these organizations and I say, hey, let's talk about community policing. Let's talk about why it's your responsibility to tell somebody when something bad happens in your neighborhood, because the next time it might be to somebody you care about. So you got to stop them now.
Would you consider going to the prisons?
Well, so the reality is that I would love to go to prisons. Matter of fact, I spend a lot of time with taking people from the prisons and bringing them into business. I have businesses where, you know, various businesses where I've had an opportunity to really select people that are meaningful, caring people that I know just need another chance. In the hair industry, that was my number one outlet of getting meaningful operators, because I knew that the penitentiary system had people that said, never again. Never again. I don't care how bad it ever gets. I never want to deal with this again. These are people who I could guarantee were going to have the work ethic, the passion, and the drive to get where they want to go. And I was very right.
And they had a lot of people to prove to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And, more importantly, they want to prove it to themselves. So I've seen so many turnaround stories. I'm completely convinced that there is a huge population, the greater population, that's willing to do the right thing if given the right chance.
Yeah, and I commend you for that. I actually know another barber on the South Side who does that as well. I can't believe our time is just like that always, especially when it's a good topic. It's just 5 minutes and it's over. So where can everybody find you, to follow you, to see where you're going to be speaking, to create a dialogue so that people can talk about it at home after watching his videos? I'm telling you, you're going to love the videos. Send me the link for CNN so everybody can watch it. But where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, so I am right now focused on Facebook. And Facebook, I have Mr. Tone Duncan Speaks. And my other name is True Biniz, and True Biniz is TRUBINIZ. And I'm always posting. I try to post something every other day at least. And a lot of what I'm doing right now goes from nutrition to just community awareness and making sure that we understand what our responsibilities are to advance the narrative.
All right. Y'all found that? Y'all gonna get online, do it now. Find it, like it, go to the page, follow him. It's really important because, as you can see, it takes one step to start a journey, and he's doing it. Think about what changes you can make, and it starts at home, especially parents, single parent, no excuse, have those talks with your kids. I mean, I look back now at having conversations with my daughter, and people are so amazed at the relationship that we have because of that. There's no secrets. There's nothing hidden. I don't sugarcoat anything. It is what it is. Yeah. But you have to take pride. Yeah. If you don't have pride in yourself, you're not going to have pride in your community. Right. And, like I said, he takes that step.
So really quick, can you please tell people how they can find out more about you? Because I want them to know your story, too, because that's amazing.
Go to LOL with Miss Nikki, my radio page here at IntellectualRadio.com. I have a breast cancer awareness page where I talk about different things. And I do have a GoFundMe where I raise money to get gift cards for patients who are just recently diagnosed to help them get over the hump of co-pays, parking, and all that other good stuff. Yeah. So find me. We're going to end on the show because they're about to kick us out. Love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to LOL with Miss Nikki. We're going to have to bring him back and do more time. Like I always tell everybody every week, laugh till you cry or cry till you laugh. But either way, keep laughing until next time. We'll see you.
This is the thing. Welcome back, motherfucker. Welcome home. It's a beautiful thing, man. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you right now. Nigga, this is it. Welcome back and welcome home. Red Room.